I think that a lot of people like, and this is something that we're shifting. Like, I was shifting my team in the last week or two. Is
Hmm.
now like we always talk about like okay, call the lead, talk to them, follow up and all that stuff. But,
Hmm.
I've been really I've been really focusing with my team on working with their database and how to get their database to work for them. Because now, like,
Hmm.
for us, how we work, like Agent Locator has all our leads that go into it. So, for example, we
Hmm.
meet someone at the open house, we're putting in our Agent Locator dashboard, right? Like, we're doing all these
Yeah.
things. So, now, especially because I have a newer agent on my team, like not a new agent, but someone on my team for about 3 months now, maybe. So they're
Hmm.
having a bigger database. You lead on my team already has a big database. So, I think it's important to like, shift the conversation to mastering your database and how to get your database working for you. And you do that
Hmm.
by obviously staying in touch, right? I know there's not anyone really in here. There's not many, but
Hmm.
Diora, if you want to come up here and chat, we can have a little bit more of an intimate conversation. Maybe this is a little bit more on one-on-one where you are until people come in. But basically, I'm going to throw some stats, which is pretty interesting, right? And like before I get
Hmm.
there is like, why do you want to take care of your database, right? Like all you're doing right now is when you're lead genning, what you're doing is you're trying to find people that know, like, and trust you to now add
Hmm.
them into your database, where your database is your home of all your people that, when deals happen or if deals are going to happen or you have leads that are considering you, you're going to be that person. So it's important to make sure that that home is taken care of and everyone is touched and there's different ways of touching them, different ways of connecting with people because you don't have to call them every day, but you have to
Hmm.
let them know that you're still thinking about them. You're still out there looking for them, not just in real estate, also helping on their personal wins. Like if someone's getting married, if someone's getting a dog, or, vice versa, you always want to connect with these people to always make sure, right? So you want
Hmm.
to make sure you take care of your database because I feel like a lot of agents neglect their database. And agents like myself and agents who have been in the game for a while, once you get to 4, 5, 6 years, that's when you start getting more people wanting to use you, like you, and trust you, and more people will reach out to you. And like then your database starts working on its own. So now you're lead genning, great. And next thing you know, you're getting a call from, one or two past clients they need to sell again, or maybe they're referring you someone. Like just last week, I had 4 people get referred to me, and it was just one was a buy and sell, one's a buy who's getting pre-approved now, and one was another buy that's getting approved now. So it's just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you have to just not forget why you're lead genning. You're lead genning and
Hmm.
calling agent locator leads or whichever leads to add them into your home,
Hmm.
right? But then when they're in your home, what are you doing with them? So a few stats, that I really liked is why does database matter, right? So, you know that 80% of sales require more than 5 follow-up matches, but
Hmm.
44% give up after one. I know that we hear stats like this often,
It's
but
5 to 11 follow-up touch points before you can
yes,
get them across the finish line. And that's after
yes,
the initial conversation with them, regardless of where they're at in the process.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Leads who receive 6+ contacts, attempts converts rate, like, you rate 70% higher than those who get fewer touches. So the thing is like, a lot of people get not motivated because you send texts and no one responds. And then, it looks like you're having a conversation with yourself. But you have to keep doing that because that's top of mind. Because remember, when real estate's all about timing and emotional, right? So
Hmm.
you need to send those message out because when timing happens, they'll just message you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I like to send like I created like something that has some motivating quotes for, why databases in our little sheet over here. And it's, build relationships and the sales will come on its own. So remember, if you're a relationship agent like you should be, once you take care of people, they're gonna come on their own and they're gonna come and help you, right? So,
Hmm.
and I think this is another one that I told my clients, if you want to be interesting, be interested. So if you want to find people to be like interested in you, like be interested in what they're saying. Be
Hmm.
present. I feel like a lot of people don't are not present because they're so worried about what they're going to say next,
Yep.
right?
For
So
sure.
so the next thing is like, in your database, right? There's so many different ways of contacting and setting up your people, but really like the three things that I would really, kind of put them in are timeline. When are they moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they moving, right? So are they upsize or first time buyer, investor, whatever, and the source.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you start your database. So open house, agent locator, spheres of influence, social media, whatever it is.
All of those door knocking, right?
Yes. And I coach people to let them know, like, most deals, believe it or not, most deals are not lost on bad leads. They're lost on
Mm-hmm.
inconsistent follow-ups. That's
Yep.
it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not bad leads. The reason why they're not bad leads, because like they want something. You're just not responding to them in the way and time that they need to be responded to in order to get a response, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speed and consistency beats like charisma all the time. So if you're always up, and you're there, yeah, people, maybe someone could get their attention for them and longer than you. But I feel like the problem is people remember you, but if you don't follow up and you don't keep in front of their face, they're gonna just drop you off. And remember, like people want to see why, like I mean, as a consumer, I want to see the person that I'm using,
Mm-hmm.
working hard. Working hard to me is like, okay, on top of what the job needs to do,
Mm-hmm.
educating me, we're creating good decisions together and we're all happy, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I saw
Perfect.
something come up here for a chat.
That's
So
just, I think, the AI bot talking.
no, I think it's dire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm assistant actually listening to this program while working on something else.
Oh, okay. Don't even worry about that. No worries.
Okay.
So what we're doing with our database is we're putting them in four different things. Okay. We're doing hot, right? Which is less than 3 months. That's ready to look
Mm-hmm.
right now and buy. The type of frequency you want on these is once every 2 to 3 days. Because if they're hot, that means that you're looking with them and you're talking to them every day, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you're out there
Mm-hmm.
putting offers or seeing houses and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Warm is 3 to 6 months where there is a timeline, but it's not urgent yet.
Mm-hmm.
We try to follow up with those between weekly and bi-weeklies. And then we have like nurture where, it's 6 months or more where, they want to move, but there's no clear timeline. So you want to just message them monthly, and stay top of mind, right? That's what we do. And then the long-term referrals, families and all that stuff is like quarterly and like key dates. So anniversaries, whatever. And you want to do this to earn referrals, right? So what we've been telling, some of our clients or some of our agents is block 2 to 3 hours this week to go to individually go through your full CRM and then label everyone. Because once you start getting like once you label things, it becomes easier. How can this be easier? Let's say you have a segment of first-time buyers. You want to send out a first-time buyer campaign. If you tag everyone first-time buyer, you don't have to go individually or think, oh, is this? You just click on the first-time buyer link, and now you can send everyone. So it's about being efficient. I think that people get so nervous that they're like, oh, we can't get enough. We can't talk to enough people in the day. There's not enough time, but I just don't think that they're being productive, and I don't think that they're finding easier ways and efficient ways to connect with people. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah. So um and then I've done a little bit of other things with different type of leads. But before I get into that,
Mm-hmm.
what are you guys doing in database? Where do you find that you are lacking in, or you find that, maybe there's better ways to improve, or maybe some things that are successful for you? I'll tell you one of ours. So
Mm-hmm.
we had an online lead that I went to see. It was like a luxury listing,
Yeah.
like over $2 million, 2 years ago. And they didn't want to do anything at this time. It was just a meeting point, doing a home assessment. They said keep in touch. So I put them on my monthly newsletter. And this newsletter, she just messaged me saying, "Hey Nick, can you come over? We're ready to list." Over a
Yep.
$2 million house.
You
I'm
never
going there
know
on
when
Friday.
someone's going to be ready, right? So it's, um,
And it's a newsletter. Like you're just sending
mhm.
out things, right? Like
Yeah,
monthly, which you
it
should.
just
You're
goes to
an
everyone.
agent. Like, you
Yeah.
know.
And you do have like simple ways if you're building your newsletters in third-party applications that you can copy that over to Agent Locator. and maintain formatting so that it does go out and still looks professional. I know the agent locator side of building out those emails isn't definitely not user friendly to create different containers and things like that, but you can bring it over. Um, and yeah, it's just a great way to keep yourself top of mind and providing information to the leads in your database, right? So it's
100%.
something that you're just sending it to everyone anyway. So
100%.
yeah. And it
So,
gets to showcase your activity as well. So if any recent solds or new listings, things like that,
yeah,
even if you don't have them, it could be just, something generalized with regard to listings that they can go in and click into and check out, right? So a lot of different
yeah,
ways you can be creative.
100%. I mean, I can show you guys a snippet of what mine looks like. I've shown it in the past, but just so you guys can see like what we do in our stats, because remember, it's about taking care of your database, right? Like that's
Yeah.
that's why you're lead genning. If you're not lead genning and you're not going to follow up and you're just looking for the sale today, you are always going to have to do lead gen work. And if you don't do it, you will not make money and you will be out of the business. So,
Hmm.
if you're transactional, it just means that you have to work every single day. Whereas if your relationship and you take care of the people, people will take care of you, right? So
Yeah.
it's a lot of work up
Yeah.
front. It's, you go over and above, but that's the
Hmm.
whole point. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. People want to feel like they're taken care of?
Yeah.
So, let me go on to my thing over here. Oh, I'm like so old. Sometimes it's like I can't even like understand how to open files. It's like, oh my God. Okay. So I'll share my screen just so you guys can see. But it doesn't have to be as extravagant. Remember, mine started off super simple, and then as every month happens or years, you keep adding to it, right? You keep working on it. How do I share my screen? Share screen. Okay. So basically, this is our newsletter. So, we have something over here. We talk about, what's going on. So, hey, we're already halfway through the year. June kicks off my favorite stretch. Here's what I do. Here's what we've been doing. So, I take photos of things that has happened. So, tried the banana cream matcha from Rome Coffee. This is a new regular order. This is this one. It was so good. Celebrated our daughter's first birthday, right? And then helped a growing family find their new home in Clarington. So, right, then how's the
Hmm.
market, right? Where that is. Homeowners, what's happening for sellers, right? I found
Hmm.
yourself wondering what could we get for our house? Reply to this email. Thinking about buying, I'm happy to answer all your questions. Schedule a call. Here's some monthly events. Here's our monthly giveaway. So, $25 to skip to Starbucks. Client win of the month with their real testimonial. And then, I get them to click homes because we have Agent Locator. So why aren't you using your
Hmm.
tools, right? Click
Yeah.
homes, take a peek at homes in here. So if I want to go West Rouge, pops up West Rouge, and people
Hmm.
now you're ready. This is called working your database, right? Like this
Yeah.
is called working your database. You have people that now want to use you, and then our listings and what we've sold, right?
Hmm.
It is
Yeah.
what it, right? So that's the cool thing. And then, we've actually pretty much had a pretty good thing. We've had what, almost 6,500 people sent, less than, 50 people delivered, which is
Hmm.
huge.
Hmm.
A lot of opens, 20% open rate, and you can see how many times. And
They opened
you
it.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? This is the one that booked my thing. So, you know,
Hmm.
guys, I'm just saying you have to work your database. That is where the real money is. Don't forget, like the reason why you're prospecting is to put people, your contacts into your database and taking care of your home, right? That's the most important part.
Absolutely.
Most important part.
Most don't do that.
No.
That's the sad part.
No, this is not on Agent Locator. It's something that we created. So it's all on
No.
stats, on
Oh.
track. Sorry, she was just
Yep.
saying, where do you see all those stats?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and that's little tidbits, right? Of like having these things, right? And like before you start lead genning, if you do not have a database or you don't know what you're doing with your database, get that organized first and then start adding people to it. Because if you're going to add
Hmm.
people into things that there's no system, it's a waste of time. because you're going out there. If you're not getting a sale done today, then you're
Hmm.
not going to follow up. So all your efforts are gone. So why are you going
Yeah.
to do?
Yeah, it's squirrel. I call it squirreling.
Yeah,
It's just collecting people for the sake of it and then wondering
yeah,
why they're not moving because we're just
yeah.
staring at their contact information daily.
Right. And my
Yeah.
team door knocks. So our goal is to put people on the nosy neighbor when we're door knocking. Hey, no problem. I totally understand you're not ready yet, but you know what? When the next house comes up for sale, I'm sure that you probably want to see it or, see what it's sold for or want to see what it's
Hmm.
listed for. So I'll just send you something monthly. Why? I just need your email. What's your email? Get your
Yeah.
email. Now it's there, right? So now it's there and now they're going to be getting listings all the time. So whenever they're ready and the timing is right and we just keep following up, we'll get that listing.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, because it is a lot of the time with your online leads or any lead, really, it's just the convenience factor.
All
Right.
convenient.
So, and we never really know. You could have a lead in your system from like years ago when you first started real estate. And all of a sudden they've just been receiving regular communication or touch points from you, and now's the time. Or maybe they know somebody and they share something that you sent to them. A lot of you guys do have free leads. I call them free leads in your system. You'll see them because they come in through a lead gen website, and those sites are, pretty hard to discover on Google without an ad. So in order for those leads to come in, that means somebody shared a listing with them. You don't know which lead did it, but I can guarantee, have free leads in your system. So, um, and again, like, you just never know where that referral is coming from, right? It could be
100%.
a lead that's been in your system for years, or somebody you met at an open house, years ago, that seen something and just sent it to a friend, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, there's always a method to your madness, and as long as you're just doing it and stay organized, really, it's
That's
taking the
that's
pressure
the
off
thing.
yourself, right?
Yes.
Is create a schedule for yourself, time block yourself, know that you have to put together your newsletter, and whether you're kind of working on it progressively over the course of a week or even the course of the coming month, that sort of thing. Have it there. Then that way it's easy. It's kind of an easy, it's a must do kind of thing on your list, that it's non-negotiable, right? This has to go out.
100%.
This. Yeah.
Take this as, and this is what I've been telling our client as well, like not our client, but my team is like, that is lead genning. You organizing, even though it doesn't feel like you're doing anything, if you're organizing and getting things done, obviously, if you're going to take 5 hours in the day to do that, okay, that's a little tough. But like,
Hmm.
if you're literally gonna, remember, slow and steady wins. If you can't commit an hour, 2 hours, do 15 minutes, do 20 minutes a day. That will, you'll go through 10 leads a day or 15 leads a day. It'll go by fast, right? But that is lead genning because you're going to go through things and be like, oh shit, I haven't talked to this person,
Yeah.
message them right now while I'm doing everything, right? So,
Hmm. Hmm.
that is good. I'll show you a win that Matthew, our agent, got. He's been doing heavy in open houses six
Yep.
months ago, and he puts them in our database in the nosy neighbor and stuff. He met a lead 6 months ago. He got a message 2 days ago saying, "Hey, ready to sell my house. Thought of you. When can you come over?"
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Guys, it doesn't have to be so hard.
No, it's just consistency and it's patience, right? Anytime we're doing any sort of long, like, lead generation, it's a long-term game, not a short-term win,
Yeah,
right? And that's hard for a lot of individuals to not grasp, because we all generally understand that. It's just we want the deals to happen sooner rather than later, right? So we get a little bit impatient and then frustrated with the process because it's just not turning it over as fast or as quickly as we wish it to be.
yeah. And I'm sure that we've all seen those, like, photos where it's like you see one person and the other person. One person has a shovel and quits digging, right? When
Hmm.
the next couple shovels are the diamond, and then you see the
Yeah.
one picture where the person kept digging and they hit the diamond.
Hmm.
So I think that
Hmm.
we just have to understand that we have to be patient. We have to understand that it takes time. Remember, who do you know? Very little people. Who do you know that can just throw around 500,000, $1 million, 1.5 in like a decision like that?
Hmm. Right. And
most of the
we,
time you have to sell your house. You're not going to have liquid cash.
mhm,
Not a lot of people have that availability. So you have to understand there's jobs involved, there's family involved, there's moving, there's schools,
mhm.
there's money, there's schedules, there's a
It's
million ten
any
things.
major purchase, really. There's thought that goes into it and a whole process behind it.
And I want to give you
So
guys a mental shift. So let's all picture ourselves right now overstimulated. Okay. Think about like, okay, fuck, I gotta move. I'm like stressed. I don't know where I'm going. Like, picture yourself in that like mindset for a
hmm
second. Okay. Now, if you had an agent that was just badgering you about like, hey, when are you buying and selling? Or hey, like, not really giving you value, do you understand why people don't message? Because you're in that mindset. If someone's sending you, hey, like, did you see any houses? Like, can we go out? Like, not really helping you on there, you're gonna get frustrated with that person. And now when that person messages you, that person's already lost because mentally they give you the ick. You know what I mean?
hmm
Whereas if you had another agent saying, hey, like, how can we help you? Or hey, this happened, or hey, did you know that like, this and this? I don't know. Like you try to give them some
Yeah.
value to get them out of there. And the people that get them out of that stress zone and make them comfortable, those are the people that they're gonna work with. So
Yeah.
why I want to do this little exercise is to show you like we don't know
hmm
what people are going through, but generally, when people are thinking of making a decision like this, there's a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety that happens over it. So we have to, you know, go with something with care,
hmm
right? So,
Yeah.
I'd love to know a little bit more on, we have some people now joining. I would love to know, like, what are you doing with your database, or if is there a way that you would want to improve your database? Have your hands up and, come up here and let's try to figure it out. And I'll share some more of some of the other things I get my team to do.
Anybody? Anybody?
You guys are quiet. Your database is working then, eh? Okay. So, so then if you guys don't want to do that, I want to know a few things. So basically the next thing that we've kind of focused more on our team is to match the source with the approach. So
hmm
for example, with agent locator leads or online leads, what wins usually? When you're dealing with online leads, what usually helps win with online leads?
Does anyone have an answer for that? Or a guess?
You guys gotta be motivating over here. You guys are a little sleepy. Follow up and value. So yes, but I have two kind of things about speed. Okay, so basically with agent locator online leads, you need to get to them quickly. However, I agree that you need to get to questions and all these things quickly. Yes, sometimes depending who you want to, depending on the lead, speed is great. I also find with online leads, like, with agent locator leads when they first come in, I find that sometimes it's better to wait 24 hours or 48 hours, my opinion, for me and my team on that initial call because sometimes they forget who's calling and they forget that they've registered, so you catch them off guard, and if you have the right questions it will bring them through. However, if an online lead messages you like a realtor.ca lead or a social media lead or something about saying, hey, I need some more information, you need to be quick to those. You can't let those linger.
hmm
And what should you always be doing with leads, with online leads? How do you get leads to open up? What are you doing when you're dealing with an online lead? It should be any lead, right? That
hmm
you're doing this, but with online leads, what should you be doing? How do you get them to open up? How do you get them to move forward in a conversation? Well, sleepy time.
Provide value up front.
Okay. Yes. Probing and questions. Exactly. Always be asking questions. Don't open up with a pitch. Open up with curiosity. I've been telling you guys that for
Mhm.
a very long time. Find out what their real motivation is. Why now? Why this area? What's driving the move? Ask these
Mhm.
questions. Don't be scared.
Mhm.
I find that a lot of people, a lot of agents, once they get to that territory of like asking questions, they don't ask even more questions. I've learned with my team, when you're asking questions, ask even more because once you learn even more about the lead, you now have more information to assess, help, and provide more value. When you can provide more value, you're providing a better relationship and a better experience. When you have a better
Mhm.
experience and relationship, you're getting the deal done.
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely.
Okay?
It's figuring out if there's a pain point. So do they have to move or do they just want to move?
Yes.
Right? So it's kind of learning. The more you learn about your leads, the better you're going to be able to position yourself,
Hmm.
right? The better the information you're going to be able to offer them, reflective of their situation. The more you're going to be able to hit that pain point in conversation, perhaps indirectly, right? So it's, the motivation and drive. I think we did a webinar where the lady was, and I don't think it was you. I think it was with Beverly, and it was her neighbor. She had a really bad relationship with her neighbor. That's the pain point. She's like, so every once in a while, when that neighbor really starts to act up, they start looking at homes because they're
Yeah,
like, we need to get out of here. Right. So that's the pain. They don't have to move, but the situation that they're in is essentially, from time to time gets bad enough that they, feel the urgency that maybe we should just get out of here, right? So,
exactly.
and that person will teeter-totter until you're giving them the information or educating them and motivating them as to perhaps why it might be a good time to move, right? Just based
Exactly.
on based on everything that we're seeing.
Exactly. Now, what is the goal for these online leads? And let's just talk about agent locator leads right now. What is the goal? You guys hear me say this all the time. What is the goal with these agent locator leads? What is the goal? Because the goal is not to close them on the first call. If they do, great, but that's not the goal. Do. Come on, guys. What is the goal? So,
To
no.
discern them, sell a meeting
The
appointment.
goal is to keep them engaged on our website. Our goal is the reason why we're calling is to understand where they're at, sending them listings that they want to see, and sending them, homes that they could want to buy. The whole point is to make them engaged on our website. Why? Because the more that they're engaged, that means the closer they are to actually buying or selling real estate.
Mm-hmm.
That is the goal. So you want them to browse homes longer, download the app, until they're ready to buy and sell with us.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so important. And most agents don't do this, you know? So set up the save searches for them immediately and don't let them go cold. If you feel like you're moving them to warm and nurture spots, no problem, but just make sure you're circling back to them. Because and I tell my team this all the time. The reason why I'm going to still be busy is because while I'm so busy with doing contracts, I'm still lead genning, right? I'm still talking to people. I'm still, dealing with relationships. I'm still building things outside of what I'm doing. So, because when you start doing a lot of deals, you're like, I'm good. But no, it's not because you doing those little extra steps will help feed the funnel and help push
Mm-hmm.
things for you when those deals are done in 3, 4, 5 weeks. Because what you need to do is you need to have a wave of people that you're working with now, between 2 to 6 people. Once you have a wave of those people, that should be done within a couple weeks. If they're done in a couple weeks, the next people come in. And what we find is that if you don't get these people done quick enough, then you get five more people and then you have 11 people. And then it's
Mm-hmm.
really hard because the people will keep on coming if you keep building it right. Exactly, Kate. You know what it is. Okay, so basically, with the open houses, what are the goals with the open houses? How fast did you respond to them? When do you respond to them? When do you respond to people on open houses? What are you doing with open houses? Yes, you're getting them in, you're showcasing the house, you have them sign in. Okay, great. What are you doing? When should you
They're
be messaging them?
The follow-up message, is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah.
So same day, right? Anyone that signs in
Mhm.
afterwards, they should be getting a message or a call after saying, "Hey, just wanted to thank you so much for coming into the open house. It was a pleasure meeting you. If you have something specific in that conversation, say it. And obviously, if you want to see this property again or if you have any questions, let us know, right?"
Mhm.
And then start asking questions and figuring out from there. But I think that it's all about asking the right questions, right? Because like a single question can turn a passive visitor into an active visitor, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So some of these questions, what would some of these questions be like to open people up? Come on, people. You guys want to do deals? Okay. So asking questions would be like, how, is there any other homes that you were looking after this open house?
Mhm.
No. Okay. Hey, did you want a list of other homes, in the area of things that you like, to see, and browse to? Would you like another set of open house list? Okay, then what are you looking for? Are you looking for two bedrooms, three bedrooms? Like, then you start
Mhm.
asking, right? So, I mean, that's where, that's super important. And then, just like your database, have a follow-up plan. Put them on Agent
Mhm.
Locator, put them on the drips, right? Or put them
Yep.
on, at minimum, put them on there with sending them properties and then following up with them. And it's about
Mhm.
like, capturing the details that matter, right? Why did they like this house? Did they like it
Mhm.
because of the area, the school, the layout, the finishings? Take note of everything, right?
Those
So,
notes as well, if the feedback that you're getting, any kind of positive feedback, you can leverage that. So if you end up having another open house, everyone keeps commenting perhaps about something about the yard. Um, you can really highlight that on future showings or open houses when you are talking to those coming through the house, like really like emphasize that area of the home that everyone seems to be drawn to.
hmm. And that's what really helps too, right?
Hmm.
So, you know, how are you guys finding, what you're doing with your open house and other stuff leads? Because I would love to go more, but I need you guys to be a little bit engaged
Hmm.
because right now I'm giving you guys some fire stuff, and I feel like a lot of people are just kind of not really, really taking in the information. So,
Yep.
maybe we don't need to continue with that, but if there's any
Nope.
other questions that you guys have or want to learn more about, that's great.
Hmm.
But I'm giving you guys some gold, and if no one's taking it, then I'm not going to share it. No problem.
Yeah.
I'll just share it for me and my team. We just did about 6 deals this week. So, I mean, if you're doing that or more, great for you. If you're not, then I don't know why you're not asking questions.
And you guys do have, Nick, are you using the open house sign-in sheet through Agent Locator, or do you use something separate?
We just actually have a printout that we do. Very
You do
simple.
it questions? Yeah.
I'm debating on going digital, but the
Hmm.
only thing is I find that sometimes it's hard for people to like touch on the iPad or like,
Hmm.
people drop the stuff or, like
Yeah.
things
Yep.
like that. I think paper is better. The only thing with paper is just you have to go over what we do is when someone signs in, right? When someone
Hmm.
signs in, we always give a little bit of information about the property. So for example, I'll give an example of one of our listings, but hey, Crystal, thanks so much for coming in. Really appreciate you. So if you can sign in, we just keep a record of everyone that came into the house. As you do that, I'll give you a little bit more
Hmm.
information. Okay.
Yep.
So they'll start writing. I'll be like, so this bedroom is, this home is a six-bedroom home with three bathrooms. Believe it or not, it's it's almost 3,000 square feet above ground. It has a double side lot with a deep lot as well. So that's something of my favorite. If you love to be outside, they do have an outdoor living area, which is my favorite. I mean, it's summer now. I start talking a little bit more personal, and then I also go, my
Hmm.
favorite parts about the house is the bedrooms are huge. If you're looking for multifamily generation living or just a big family in general, this house is perfect for space, individual rooms and,
Hmm.
more space, right? Like whichever way, right? So,
Absolutely.
I really just try to give an experience. I really think about when I'm doing an open house, my goal is to get them to sign in with the right information.
Hmm.
Um, check that information. So, for example, if someone is saying yes, they check yes, they're working with a real estate agent. I go, okay, awesome. Who are you
Hmm.
working with? If they don't
Hmm.
have a name, they're not working with an agent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no problem. Or even if they do, I always ask, do you have something signed? No, I don't.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Would you consider a second opinion? Yes, I would. So there's just like different ways. And it's just
Hmm.
like I feel like a lot of people are missing some good quality leads because they're not asking questions.
Well, and an open house lead is standing in front of you, right? So it's a great way to start, not only showcase the property, but to also probe the individual as well, just with some questions, is this the first open house you're looking at? How long have you guys been looking? This home has like 4 bedrooms. Is this typically what you're looking for? Right.
Yes.
So there's a different ways that you could be probing them to determine motivations and timelines and wants and needs just in that initial entry of them coming into the home and answering a few questions on a questionnaire.
Yes. And then also too, what do people do usually at open houses, agents? They usually just sit and let people sign in and like there for questions. That's not
Hmm.
how you should be doing our open houses. Your open houses should be like an experience, right? Have some water, have some treats, like have people sign in, bring some music if you want to, right? Like make it a little bit of a vibe because when people are like, out of those settings, they'll be more open to. Also, too, those buyers might be sellers. They're looking and they're interviewing you and thinking about, you based on your open house and how you work.
Hmm. Yep.
So, there's a lot of people that you can get business from just by doing the part and being, educated in your property and representing it right.
Absolutely. It's like your first interview. It's like
Yeah.
your interview with them and asking. Like I've gone to open houses and asked questions and the realtor couldn't answer. And I thought, wow, I'm like, you're here in this open house and you can't answer. You have to get back to me. So, and it was
Yeah.
it was a property that was used as an investment. So it was related to that.
Yeah.
There's no reason why that person shouldn't have had
Yeah.
that is at least some blanket information handy because like someone's going to ask that question, right? So
Yeah.
so I was kind of, and that was her listing. It wasn't even that she was showcasing somebody else's property. So I thought I was kind of, you know, thrown back by that. But she didn't have that information. So always know and be
You have
ready.
to.
You
You
have
have
to
to.
like be ready for any possible question that might come your way.
Product knowledge.
Um, mhm,
Right? Like you have to know. And you know what? People, just by knowing your information, being like doing the bare minimum, right? Because that's the bare minimum, guys. You should
mhm,
be knowing about any property you're showing, right?
mhm,
Yeah, maybe not how thick the insulation is or like these crazy questions sometimes, right? But
mhm.
like the
Yeah.
general questions you need to make sure you know because when people are asking you and you are doing it, people will say, wow, it's so refreshing that you actually know your stuff compared to other agents. And that's a compliment. That means that they're giving you a signal like, hey, we might be working with you.
Yep. And Nick, do you personally go, if you have a specific open house that you're hosting and there's other listings, like let's say in the surrounding area of similar type properties, do you gather, basically educate yourself on those properties as well? So
Oh yeah.
if they
Oh
mention
yeah.
it or they talk about it, then at least you can say what the difference is between these two homes.
Yeah. So my team and myself, when you're doing an open house, you're the day before, you're looking at what's on the market and you're looking at what just sold. Because if you can roll off the tongue and talk about these things and send yourself these listings. Like what I do is I send listings to myself the night before or in the morning of homes that just are available on the market that are in and around that area there, and then homes that just sold, and I send it to myself because when I have a conversation with someone, I can just pull it up and pull them and be like, yeah, you know what? This, I can understand that 123 Main Street you're talking about, but I'm not sure if you actually took a look at the photos and saw what else other problems it could have, or maybe things in the listing that may not fit for you. If you can do that, you won.
Hmm.
The lead will work with you if they're not represented. I'm telling you, it works all the time. That's how I get people. But it's about like being informed, being educated. Remember, question time. If you're spending 500, a million, 2 million, 5 million, what do you want to feel like? You want to feel confident. You want to feel
Hmm.
confident about what you're buying,
Hmm.
and you want to feel confident about who you're buying it from,
Oh yeah, for sure.
right? So, because if you're not confident, you could lose the deal and you have a buyer for it. They're just not going to buy it,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah, that's that. So, I would
Mhm.
love to open the floor to any questions that anyone there, is at now in their business, or questions that, maybe they have about scripting or, anything else about the process. I'd love to help everyone here. Wow, you guys are really quiet today.
If it's easier for anyone to speak and ask your questions those way, just raise your hand and I'll give you the ability to talk.
What are you doing now that you feel that there's a better way to do something? Whether that's social media, whether that's productivity, whether that's scheduling, whether that's scripting. Where do you feel that you may have a question?
Yeah. That you need to make a shift in your business or how you're approaching it.
I'm letting you know there's so much money out there right now.
Mhm.
Like, guys, there's so many people looking right now. Like, so many people. Like, we're getting requests all the time
Mhm.
to, interest about a property and all that stuff? Yeah, so I think that there is value, but remember, it's all about having a plan, right? If you're just looking to sponsor something to get leads, like it may not work like that. If you don't have a system, a response team, or whichever, it doesn't
Mhm.
really work that well. I think that it depends on what your marketing plan is for, doing it. So for example, right? If you want to do a buyer post to get deals from that, maybe you pick like you have to pick, okay, which buyer am I going to target? First time buyers, upsizers, first time sellers, like whatever it is. Then you
Mhm.
have to think about what is one or two or three of the major concerns that they have and figure that out. And then you make a video about it and then make a call to action at the end, for them to reach out or, whichever it is going to be. And then and then post that and then sponsor that.
Mhm.
That would be good. But then when people come in, you have to make sure you have a system or a script or, whatever to make sure that you can engage with them. They're going to come in, you're going to help them and then get the deal done. So you have to know why you're doing it. Just sponsoring and stuff like that is not going to do anything. On Reels, on listing Reels, it does work. We do sponsor our stuff as well. But we try to create really cool material to help be
Mhm.
visible where other people are still sharing it to other people.
Yeah.
Like my job is to create a marketing material, have it out there that other people can share it. Because if other people can share it, that means that the listing's getting more organic views and going to, the people. And our ads are going to targeted ads, so targeted
Mhm.
people. So it's people who are looking for those kind of things. So if they're sending it, if we're targeting to the buyers that we want, and those buyers are sending it to someone that they know, that means that my job is working.
Yeah. And Reels, the thing with Reels is, and I encourage everyone who's creating content, is to continuously create Reels because the more you do it, the more frequently you do it, Meta will start to present your Reels to a larger audience. So it'll gradually start. So outside of your page following, or profile following, it just kind of goes out there for everyone to see. But the more you're doing it, the more they start sharing it across individuals that are not part of your like list, right? So your page followers. So there is benefit to being consistent without even having to necessarily do the sponsored route. You just have to be consistently posting content for Meta to be able to progressively do that for you.
Yeah. And like with social media, you just have to keep posting. It's not about like
Hmm.
going viral. It's about consistently posting, building a database, building a community. Like it's all the same stuff.
Hmm.
So farming is great, but you have to be consistent. You got to throw
Hmm.
money. You got to throw money
Yeah.
out first, you know, without it working, right? And then,
Mhm.
going out there once a month, right? Like either going door knocking or you're going out to meet the neighbors. You're
Yes.
going out there to for whichever
Yeah.
reason. Maybe
You're
throw out, maybe throw out when a sale, maybe if you're when a sale has happened or you have a sale in that house. I think it's a more pull for a farm if you just sold
Mhm.
the property. I mean, something could be like going door knocking with tickets for an ice cream cone, call an ice cream cone for to come on the street and just lead gen that way and get people to know you that way. And then the doors that you know don't go there. The doors that you don't know, you keep going until you start learning more of that person, right? So, I mean,
Mhm.
listen, anything works. It's just you got to go out there.
You've got to do it. And in farming, it takes you at least, don't you have to give at least a year, so 12 months to really fully evaluate because it takes time. And you have to be, like Nick says, you have to be consistently in front of these people where they're now getting familiar with who you are. So your farm can't be too big. It has to be very manageable. You have to be knowledgeable in the area, 100%. So it's closest to home, I find, is often where we're the most knowledgeable about like schools, transport,
Sure.
transportation, all of that stuff. Um, no other agent can be dominating that area because it'll be pointless for you to try to take over, and
100%.
high turnover areas, right? So, and then of course you're going to door knock and kind of farm the areas where you have listings, perhaps that might fall outside your farm or something just sold,
Yes.
that sort of thing. But it's not just door knocking, it's mailers, it's community events, it's getting to know the businesses in that area. It's really, so it's really being smart with it, but it will work, but you really have to nurture that and give and put your time and effort into it. It's not, again, it's a
100%.
long-term gain, not a short-term win.
But this is the thing. If you can't just talking out loud, right?
Yeah.
Start with mastering your database first, because if your database is working, then that means you can do a farm,
Mhm.
right? Because requires work, it requires systems, it requires like talking, or else you're just wasting time and throwing your money and going to be even more frustrated,
Mhm.
right?
So farm your
Focus.
database.
Yeah, focus from your database, right? There's so much ways to lead gen and all that stuff now. You can lead gen from any sport that you play, like anything that you do, you can make a lot of money from it. It's just you have to figure out a different way for people to, perceive it and, be open to it. Yeah, door knocking is better in
Exactly.
my opinion because you're just like right in the front
Hmm.
of people, and people are seeing it's like instead of AI, you have someone really actually calling you, right? So it's kind of like
Absolutely.
the same way.
Hmm.
I feel like mail outs, people are blind to it unless there's like a really good flyer that catches your attention that's cheap. I don't know,
Hmm.
right? But for real estate agents, like
If you're
it
dropping
works. Don't get me
something,
wrong, but
yeah,
you have to keep sending it,
it's a lot
right?
of money, especially if you're doing an address ad mail. That's any again, a lot of people just throw that in the recycling so they don't
100%.
even look at it, right? So, um, like Nick said, if there's something that kind of captures, like, oh, okay, they might take a second look at it, or actually respond to it. QR codes, street match, the nosy neighbor, 100%. If you guys are door knocking, you need to be door knocking with that, and or leaving, if even have a QR code on your business card, something that you can leave associated with that, and that you can leave if, let's say, the guest isn't, the homeowner isn't there,
100%. And
right?
something that is
It's
like yeah, that they want to remember. If
mhm,
you're not really getting anything from your door knockers or your marketing material, it might be because your marketing material is not good,
mhm.
right? So we always try to reinvent some of the stuff. So to give you guys an example of some of our door knockers, what we do when we sell a house, just to give you guys an example. Sorry, one second here. Sorry, I'm just gonna go to my orders. Sorry, guys, just loading. Wow. My internet is slow. Okay. So for example, I'm going to share my screen here. Share. Okay. So this is one of the homes that we sold. I just sold your home, your neighbor's house, and I can sell yours too. 34, what the list price was, how much, what it was, 16 showings, four offers, whatever it was, right? And then in the back, oh my God, order history. Sorry, guys. Order history, order history. In the back, I have something clean, scan QR code to get the value. So right there where
Mm,
it's nosy neighbor, what we've done, a nice photo here, scan our Instagram to get in touch with us. So we're leaving these things here and we get a lot of calls from it. But you
everyone
have
leaves those marketing, like those materials, like you just, it's opportunity. All of a sudden you get into a street match lead, right?
Yeah. I
So,
find that it's more of a pull when you're selling a listing and you're circle prospecting because you're the one that sold the house. So you have a little bit more pull,
mhm,
but it doesn't necessarily mean that, if you wanted to pick a street that something just sold on and just did door knockers of like wondering what your house is worth, that can work too, right? But
yeah,
I find that it's always a little bit more pull as the listing agent, because, you just sold the house, right? On the street.
yeah, yeah. It gives you leverage to something to talk about. Even if you're talking to someone, hey, often there's a lot of questions that come up when a home sells on the street. So,
100%.
right. So it gives you something, a way to just position yourself with value.
Yes. And I think that like, another quick like easy script would be like, hey, just want to let you know that there's a house that sold very well. It was in multiple offers, so only one person won, but three other people didn't win. So there's demand on your street, and I'm curious, usually when this listing sells, there's one or two other ones that come up. Will you be one of them? Or, hey, we have three buyers on the street that we built some demand on the street. If we were able to get you a certain number, would you consider selling?
Hmm.
Right? Like these things.
Yeah,
So it's about all of that, right? So, yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it.
yeah. A lot of different ways to create opportunity for ourselves, and a lot of it's sitting right in front of us. It's in our dashboard. It's just using that information really,
100%.
and using a system and following up with people, and you're never bothering somebody, right? So if we're
You're
if
never
we're always
bothering someone when
thinking.
you're giving them value.
Exactly. If we're trying to sell somebody all the time, then yeah, you're going to be bothering them. But if we're offering information, education, and adding value, you can. Or if we're building relationships, like, if I was working Nick as a lead and I'm just doing a check-in and it's more of just, hey, how are you? And it's been a while since we chatted, and it's just a really kind of genuine conversation, you're not bothering them. But if
Yes,
every time I call Nick and it's like, all I wanted to do is buy something, are you ready to go take a look at houses? Are you ready to go take a look at houses? He's gonna not want to talk to me because the unwanted pressure is in each and every contact point. So
100%.
just remember that.
100%. Well, I hope everyone enjoys their day. If you guys have
Yeah.
any other last questions, now's your time. I'm glad that
Mhm.
some of the gems have been dropped that people are receiving because there's some good stuff there. Um, But yeah, I can just tell you there's a lot of people out there right now. Even though the market's down in price, there are so many people out. So, I
Mhm.
mean, don't get caught up on the hype or not the hype, but don't get caught up in, the news or whatever saying like, oh, Canada's in a recession, whatever, whatever. Listen, people need to still buy and sell a house.
People do that all the time. They talk about, everything, everyone's going to stop buying, but restaurants are still full,
Yeah.
right?
And if
So
you are
it's, yeah.
exactly. And if you are not happy where you are right now in your pipeline and your leads and stuff, lead gen for 90 days and your life will change. And I'm talking about
Mhm.
lead gen for like 20 hours a week. Like actually lead gen, like your life matters for it and your
Mhm.
your business will go up. And if you're not getting, further in conversations, you need scripting help. Don't reach it. Don't stop your own progress. Meaning like don't be stubborn. Don't like,
Mhm.
if you have to pay for help, pay for help. Like guys, like that's what I did. I had a mentorship program, I had a coach, I paid for help, and now look, like you don't have to do it forever. but do it to learn and get like out of your area of like being stuck because I'm telling you, being a real estate agent is a great career. It's a great career. Is it hard? Yes, but every job has good, bad, and hard parts and easy parts.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter, right? So
Yeah.
the best part is that you get to help cool people every day and you get to really, you get to get people like their dream home. Like I think that's pretty cool or their first
Mm-hmm.
home or whatever. Like, don't take that for granted.
Absolutely. Create a 90-day sprint. What are you going to do
Yes.
for the next 90 days, right? Every
Yes.
day there's something that you're doing.
Yes. Have to. But I hope everyone has a great day. If you guys need anything, you know where to find me. Crystal, always a pleasure. And if you need anything, let me know.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you all next month. All
Yeah.
right. Bye,
Bye.
guys.